Hey guys, it's Kat. I'm back with another video as promised, trying to get you guys into Chaos Descending, the latest X pack. And today we're going to look at Ascension spells. So if you haven't played EQ2 for a few years, or if you're new to the game, you might be kind of confused and maybe a little scared about Ascensions. If you've read anything on the forum, you hear a lot of criticism about, most especially the pay-to-win aspects. And a lot of that is pretty well founded. There are some pay to win parts about it, definitely. However, um, it's not as bad as it was when it first came out with Kunark Ascending. So they've actually made some changes during Pop, and especially the ones here during Cast Ascending, which have made it a lot easier, not nearly as expensive for real life money. And a lot of that information that you'll see out there is outdated and reflects more on the KA stuff. So let's look at the 4 Ascension classes and what you need to do to level them. And you do want to level all 4 of them. So Thaumaturgist, Etherealist, Elementalist, and Geomancer. So right now, each of those you can level all the way up to 20. So each of those 4 classes have 20 spells, and you do want to level all 4 to max. How do you do that? Well, if you remember from last week, we went and we talked to the Panda Yunzi and we did his summer quest. And what he did was it unlocked a bunch of stuff we could purchase from him, including these Ascension Boost. So if you remember the Journeyman Primer, the Mastery Primers, each of these was a boost to any one of those Ascension classes. So we picked up all 3, and there is a boost to 5, to 11, and to 15. So you can't combine those. You can't do a 5 plus an 11 and get 16. They cap at 5, at 11, at 15. But still, for a couple easy exploration quests, this is very easy, catches you up pretty quickly on the Ascensions. Now, if you guys, there actually are more boosts out there depending on which Axe pack you bought. So a little bit of the pay to win, but if you bought one of the premium packages, then you can go to claims and you might have an Ascension boost in there. So if you just bought the $35 no frills version, you don't have any boost, but if you bought the middle package or the highest end of the package, then you are going to have Ascension boost in there. So I got the middle package back during Plains of Prophecy. I have a level 5 boost in here as well. So that is the very first thing you want to do. So use those first, and then you can start XP grinding your way after that. And how do you then grind Ascension XP to get more Ascensions? Well, once this starts, right, and once you're locked into one of the 4 Ascension classes, then as you do timelines in KA, Pop, or CD, any of those X packs that had Ascension classes in it, that will grind you Ascension XP. Okay? Now, say you do all those and you still aren't to level 20 in all 4. Well, no worries there. It's if you do your weeklies in CD, you do the overland key quests, those all will still give you XP. And even doing the crafting line in CD gives you XP, so absolutely do that. Okay, so there are 4 Ascension classes. You need to level all 4. Are you actually going to play all 4 Ascension classes? No. You're going to want to just pick one, and that's the one you're going to want to learn. That's the one you're mostly going to want to play, and it's the one that you're going to bother upgrading spells in. So you're asking, like, well, why do I need to level all 4 if I'm only going to play one? Traditionally, how it's worked is that when you get all 4 of your Ascension classes to max level, is that there is a reward. There's an achievement, something that you get. For KA, it was the Greater Ascended Tome, which was the best charm in game for that entire X pack. With Pop, we got an upgrade to that tome with the Tome of the Plains. Now, this was actually something that you got from doing the crafting line in Pop, and it's actually still the best charm in game, so you definitely want to go back and do that crafting line. But when you got all 4 of your Ascension classes to 15, it unlocked an extra feature on this. So, and it actually gave you a little bit more fervor on the tome than what it had originally. And as we know, fervor is the best that you can get. Very few items that have fervor on it, so you want to get as much fervor on as many items as possible. So at a minimum, you want to get all 4 of your Ascension levels to 15. So far, for getting to 20, we haven't had any during the CDX pack. But does that mean that they won't add something later? That we won't get an upgrade to this charm? And that maybe it won't somehow tie into Ascensions? It's a possibility. So uh, I would start working on it now. Is it something that's going to take you a while? But I would definitely recommend it. It's what I'm planning on doing. Okay, so we talked about how to level your Ascension spells. One thing you might have a question about is, well, how do I switch back and forth? Like, I'm finished leveling one of them to 20. How do I switch to a different one? Well, that's why I'm standing next to this Ascension Trainer guy right here. So if you find an Ascension Trainer, all you have to do is ask them to switch you. There are Ascension Trainers in Obulus Frontier from KA. They're in the Coliseum of Valor from Plains of Prophecy. But all you do is go up in here and say hi. And this tune is an Etherealist, so just let them know I want to switch to Elementalist, or whichever one you want to switch to. And there we go. Thank you. Now I'm an Elementalist. And oh no, I changed my mind. I want to go back. Change me back to Etherealist. Thank you again. See, it was that easy, that fast. And this guy just hangs out in Maris Library all day long, so anytime you want to come talk to him. Alright, so how do you decide out of the 4 classes which one you want to make your main Ascension class? Well, each of the Ascension classes deals a different type of damage. Thaumaturgist does disease, Etherealist does magic, Elementalist does cold, Geomancer does crushing damage. And you want to find the class that most closely aligns with the type of damage your class does naturally. So why do you want to do that? Because each of these classes will give you a buff. So she's playing Etherealist, so the buff for Etherealist is Etherlord. It's a fervor buff. So again, more fervor, we like that. But the other thing this buff does is it converts all your damage that you do in your class with your class spells to whatever the type of damage that Ascension class does. So she's playing Etherealist. It's converting all her abilities that are not dependent on weapon damage to magic damage. So picking the class that most closely aligns with yours is key. It's what I recommend doing. So if you play a Shadow Knight, if you play a Warlock or a Necromancer, you naturally do disease damage. Go with the Ascension that does disease, which is Thaumaturgist. Okay? Same thing with Etherealist with magic, or Geomancer with crushing, or Elementals with cold elemental damage. Okay? Now, do you absolutely have to pick it that way? No. If you want to take into consideration kind of what your role in the group is, you can do that as well. If you're looking for what the Ascension class is that does the most DPS, that's Thaumaturgist, followed by Etherealist. If you're looking for something that's going to be kind of more utility and help out the group, Elementalist has a lot more group buffs, and Geomancer is a fantastic Ascension class for healers. So healers should definitely look at Geomancer as an Ascension class. Okay, so we've leveled all our Ascensions. We know how to do that. We've picked which Ascension class we want to play. Now we need to look at upgrading our Ascension spells, because you're only going to get them at the basic apprentice level. But luckily, sages have all the recipes to upgrade all your Ascension spells if they've done the CD timeline for that. So that's why I'm playing my tune Nina here today, because she's my sage. So let's look at what you need to upgrade your Ascension spells. How about let's look at an Etherealist spell. Let's look at Ether Flash real quick. Okay, so Ether Flash. What do I need to do? Now, I can't just make a Grandmaster or Ancient Ether Flash spell and go all the way from Apprentice to that. I need to scribe them in order. So I'll have to go to Journeyman first. Now, what do I need to do that? All I need are Harvest. So super easy, super fast, and if you have all these Harvest, you can get it with no plat. What do I need then to do the next level? Let's go up to Adept. Okay, this one is asking for an illegible scroll page. Now, these drop from solos, so just by running solos, you might get these. A lot of people that run KA still have these. That was the last time these pages dropped, and this is where a lot of the upset was from the pay to win aspect. Was that in KA you needed 10 of these, so you didn't just need to get lucky once to get this spell that you needed. You needed to get lucky 10 times the pages were no trade, so you couldn't swap them, you couldn't buy them or sell them on the broker. But devs have changed that. You only need one, and they are tradable now. So, and a lot of people are putting their old stuff in KA on the broker. I want to look up and see if I can find Ether Flash Adept. Right there. I got several pages of that. And oh look, only 600 plat. So super cheap. You can very easily upgrade all your Ascensions to Adept for little time harvesting and a little bit of plat. Okay, so far we've gone harvest, page. What are we going to need to do to get all our spells up to expert? It's going to be harvest again. So it does this, right? It alternates between harvest, page, harvest, page, harvest, page. It does require a little bit rarer of a harvest to do experts, but still really easy to get. Okay, so if expert is harvest, then that means master is going to ask for a page. Now, this time it's going to ask for the master version of the Ether Flash page, which is going to be rarer. You aren't going to see as many on the broker. They're going to cost more plat because they drop from heroics. So fewer people doing heroics, fewer drops they're going to get. As you can see, we've got it on the broker, but the master is 400,000 plat, so quite a bit more. But still, for a master spell, that is super cheap. And that is where you want to invest your plat, right? Is you want to invest it in spells, because those are the things that are going to stick with you for multiple X packs on like gear, which you're going to constantly be upgrading as you just run more and more zones. So if master was harvest, then that means grandmaster is going to be master was a page, grandmaster is harvest. So it is going to ask for something a little bit more rare with the celestial foundation or spell shard, but still super easy to get. And from there we look at the ancient version. So this is going to ask for a page then. So we're alternating back and forth between harvest and pages. And this, if the master version is rare, obviously the ancient version is going to be much more rare. The master drops from heroics, ancient drops from raids. So if I look on the broker, there's none there. And if there was, I'm sure it would be like astronomically priced. So if you can't find them, they're out of your price range, this is something that you can then go to research. So go to your upgrades. Now, the research time for Ascension spells is kind of ridiculous. It's if I want to go from a GM to an Ancient, it's 58 days, right? Almost 2 months. But still, it's an option since these are so hard to get and so expensive. Now, it used to be that that was the end of the road. Like, that was as high as you could get, was your spells to Ancient. Chaos Descending actually has upped that. There is now a version above Ancient called Celestial. And so far, the only way to get that is by doing a quest. Now, we get this quest once a month after you finish the timeline and unlock the quest giver. But if you do once a month, you run the water, air PQs, and CD. You finish your T1, T2, and event heroics at least once within a month, then you get a celestial spell. So, and you pick this spell, you pick this quest up every month. 12 months from now, you might have 12 celestial spells. Okay, so hopefully we've looked at how to level all your spells, which spell to choose, how to upgrade the ascension class that you choose. Hopefully this helps you guys, kind of demystifies Ascensions quite a bit. So good luck and have fun harvesting all your planner energies.